story, which is that yesterday we found out that successive governments have been secretly importing Afghans, plonking them in loads of towns and then covering it up. And we're told that they're all interpreters and that they fought the Taliban alongside us. But then it emerged that one Afghan who arrived on the official relocation scheme claimed his 13 family members, 13, were also in danger, took the government to court, won, and now they're all here. And it looks like a lot of people haven't even been vetted before they came here, as ex-Tory MP and member of the Armed Forces, Bob Seeley, revealed. People even vetted properly.
Some were, some weren't, is my gut feeling. And it's quite clear also that, like you, I've been reading the fact there are some people who we gave a very firm no to because of those sorts of reasons and are now in anyway.
Yep, but this is just the latest in a long line of huge cover-ups, and that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. How many cover-ups have there been? Well, we had the Pakistani rape gang scandal. Police avoided investigating people because they were afraid of being called racist. People who pointed out that Pakistanis were disproportionately represented were called racist, and obviously, if you wanted an inquiry, well, naturally, you were far right.
And when politicians, and I mean politicians, who sat in government for many years, are casual about honesty, decency, truth and the rule of law, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
Then you've got the attempted illegal immigration cover-up. So local areas are not consulted. I mean, you'll know this, probably listening or watching wherever you are now. Your local area is not consulted when a hotel is about to be turned into a migrant facility. Sir Keir Starmer says that he's going to clamp down on illegal migrants working illegally.
This will show others trying to make the same journey that it will be in vain, and the jobs they've been promised in the UK will no longer exist because of the nationwide crackdown we're delivering on illegal working, which is on a completely unprecedented scale.
So he says that to you, and then today it emerged that the government is refusing to share details of where migrant hotels are with companies like Deliveroo. So they're not really clamping down on it, are they? We're told that we're getting a new deal with France.
For the very first time, migrants arriving via small boat will be detained and returned to France in short order.
And then it turns out that it's only a pilot scheme. We're told that the French will stop the boats in their waters.
France has now agreed that they will now start to intervene in French waters in order to prevent small boats.
But then it turns out that that's subject to a maritime review, so they might decide not to do it after all. The Prime Minister puts out statements like this.
My message to people smugglers is this: we're breaking your business model.
Channel migrant crossings are actually up about 50% on this time last year. People smugglers have literally never had it so good. And then what about Southport? Was there a cover-up there a bit, do we think? We were told next to nothing about Axel Rudy Cabana. Why?
That's the very least that we owe these families. But we also owe them justice. So while there's a prosecution that must not be prejudiced, for them to receive the justice that they deserve, the time for answering those questions is not now.
Right, well then an independent review says that we should have been told more and it might have actually prevented the disorder that we did see. We are not currently allowed to know the nationalities of every criminal in Britain. Now, apparently those stats are going to be published for the very first time in British history later this year. Why have they been hidden from us until now? It was only this week that we were told the truth about how many foreigners are on benefits. You pay about £1 billion a month for foreigners on universal credit. And even then, though, it's only broken down into EU nationals and non-EU nationals. It's not very specific, that, is it? Again, we're told that there isn't really a problem with foreign nationals committing sexual crimes. Well, it turns out that up to a quarter of sex crimes in Britain are committed by foreign men. And just to bring us back to where we started on this Afghan importation scheme that successive governments did, even now, knowing what we know, they are still insisting that the injunction was only to protect human life. So Sir Ben Wallace, former Defence Secretary, published this article in The Telegraph with the quote, "It was not a cover-up." They took a super injunction out against it, for goodness sake. That's a cover-up. There is just industrial-style gaslighting going on here from people in positions of power. It looks a lot like politicians have inflicted an unrelenting tide of lies, deceit and cover-ups onto us, especially when it comes to both legal and illegal immigration.
Do you want to save a boatload of cash this summer, wherever you have a trip planned? The one thing you're going to need is access to the internet and on the go. And you can do that easily with Saily. Hit the link in the description to get 15% off your first eSIM plan ready for your trip so you can browse to your heart's content. Saily gets you a local SIM card you can use when traveling so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a message or check the latest news. Now, they've got plans in over 160 countries, 8 regions, so pretty much everywhere, wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? All you've got to do is this. Hit the link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan. You can choose an amount of data and time frame that suits you best. And then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And if that wasn't enough, Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once. So when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and boom, you're back watching me on GB News. I'll be using a Saily SIM on my next holiday because it's actually faster than some of the hotel Wi-Fis. You can get unlimited data if you want, so you can scroll away to your heart's content. And when you leave the hotel, you don't have to do that annoying thing of Wi-Fi hopping because you've got constant connectivity wherever you go. And they've got 24/7 support as well and a full refund policy if your eSIM isn't compatible. So get sorted for your next trip. Download Saily using the link in the description below. And if you use the code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us. So click the link, download Saily, and use the code NEWS at checkout.
Let's get the thoughts of my panel this evening. We do, of course, have Emily Sheffield there, the former editor of London Evening Standard, Adam Brooks, as well, landlord and activist, and as well, Sebastian Salak joins us, Labour Party councillor. Right, Adam, I'll start with you on this. I mean, the kind of unrelenting tide of cover-ups here, certainly in relation to this Afghan scheme, is pretty shocking. It kind of points to the fact that we can't really trust anything anyone's saying, really.
No, it's shocking, and the trust between the people of this country and governments is at an all-time low, and now we know that apparently £7 billion worth of repatriation of Afghans has been hidden from us. So not only that, I mean, this £7 billion, was it hidden from the bond markets? Was it hidden from the Chancellor, the OBR forecast? Does that mean that all of our numbers are wrong? Have we been sold a lie on that? And then we get told that veterans are being turfed out of accommodation possibly because of Afghans coming over. People that have served their country are being turfed out of their accommodation.
Where's that information from? Where are you verifying that from?
I read it on GB News today.
Yeah,
Where have you verified it from?
We had a bloke who was in accommodation. In fact, I think, have we got a clip of it? We've got a clip of it, I think.
And we know that he was turfed out to put Afghans in.
I think we've got a clip of it, have we? Yeah.
I applied in May of 23 and it was rejected. Fast forward then to September 23 and suddenly a large quantity of Afghan nationals suddenly turn up on the estate and occupy a large quantity of the houses that weren't occupied, which then led me to being out, moving over at Christmas time with my family, and any options of support gone.
So, that's what it's saying.
So, I mean, what sort of democracy are we living in where a court can do this, and hide these things from not only us, the people, but Parliament?
So you were a bit, you weren't happy with that clip, were you? What's the problem?
I just want to... That's one guy, right? You turned that into veterans are being turfed out to house Afghans.
We did have another one on Nigel Farage's show earlier on, I think.
Well, how many? Because I do think there's another side to this argument is we waged a 20-year war in Afghanistan.
Right.
And we're now turning into all these Afghanis who came here, who worked with our soldiers. Oh, no, wait, let me finish. You've had your moment.
You've cut into me. So you believe that our veterans that have served do not deserve to be in accommodation over
That's not what I'm
foreign.
arguing. I was asking, where's your information from? And I wanted that verified. And at the moment, we've got 2 instances of this. So, OK, we can argue veterans too. I don't agree with that. I absolutely don't agree that any veterans in our... So 2 have been turfed out. Let's see if the government comes up with the fact that loads of our veterans have been turfed out to house these Afghans. That's not great either, is it? But let's just also focus on what these Afghans were doing for us. For 20 years, we waged a war in that country, and many of these men risked their lives alongside our soldiers, both men and women, probably kept them safe, helped us operate in a country where we had gone to attack them. And then what? We're saying you cannot come to this country. We should be waging war on the people who are coming across in the small boats, OK? They are coming here illegally. Between 2021 and now, the figure is 125,000. But you are picking on people who maybe helped save our soldiers' lives.
I've just highlighted that veterans of this country that you have just said have been turfed out of their accommodation.
We've got 2
for
at the
foreign
moment.
people.
We've got 2.
GB News has found 2 today, so how many are there?
Well, it's fine. Let's wait and see until we find loads, shall we? Do you agree that we shouldn't house any of these people? Is your argument, so these Afghans who are coming over, who helped our soldiers, who possibly helped our soldiers and saved their lives when they went there to fight a war, so you think they shouldn't come to this country
at the moment, I do not believe we have got the facilities, we've not got the money to do so. And we have not got the room.
Have you got any children?
I've got 3 children.
Right, so if it comes to the point where we go to war at some point and your kids get conscripted, do you want them to go into a war where they may get helped by those on the ground, and then when we've won that war, we just leave them to be abandoned?
You put the people of this country first, and we're not doing that. OK?
So you don't think our soldiers should have been looked after by those
I am just going to bring Sebastian in because
these people, our people need to be put first.
OK, all right.
So our soldiers don't matter. When they're being helped by Afghans on the ground, our soldiers don't matter.
I said our people need to be put first.
I think one of the more...
No, because you're not. That's the thing that I'm arguing with.
I want to bring Sebastian in because at the moment he's being paid to absolutely nothing. Right, so, Sebastian, I think one of the main points, the kind of overarching point I was trying to make there really was more a question of government trust, and that is multi-governmental, right? So that's the Tories, massively the Tories, and then now more recently with Labour when it comes to a few of the things there. How big a problem is that for British society, that sense that when we're being told something quite important, people just feel like, actually, they're probably lying to us?
Well, it depends what the issue is. I think on this occasion, it clearly made a lot of sense not to bring this into the public eye immediately. There were lives at risk. So far be it from me to defend another party's government, but I think putting that super injunction on was the right call at the time.
So was Labour right to carry it on? There was the revelations that in October this year there was a meeting, Rachel Reeves, Angela Rayner, John Healey as well. They decided they wanted to carry on with this. Were they right to do that?
Well, clearly at that point there was no confirmation that everybody was safe. That all seems to have come out in this past week. That is the thread that runs through this. Sometimes things have to be secret. We have a secret service for a reason. Not everything can be in public. Of course we want things to be. We want to have that open debate in Parliament and in our town squares. But sometimes things have to be kept quiet.
OK, and just to pick up on this row that we're having before, really, I think it's a good one. People will be having that same discussion at home. Would you ever tolerate a British serviceman or woman being moved out of their homes to accommodate, in this case, an Afghan interpreter, or in the case of one of them, maybe one of his 13 family members?
Well, this sounds like a real edge case. I mean, with the 13 family members thing, who are those family members? Do we know?
Well, they're his family members, wife, children, relatives.
Well, sure, if they're wife and children, you're not just going to leave the children in Afghanistan.
I mean, he did, though, didn't he? That was kind of the problem, wasn't it?
Who's that, sorry?
The guy that we brought over, so the guy who was claiming to be an Afghan interpreter, he did leave his wife and kids back in Afghanistan, then came to Britain, said that he should bring them over, won a court case, and then brought them over. Because for a lot of people, that would be unconscionable, wouldn't it? Like, I don't think I'd leave my wife in Taliban-occupied land, even if I was offered the chance to leave. But he did do that.
I don't know. We don't know who was at threat. We just don't have enough information to have this debate properly.
And haven't the Taliban said that they've known this the whole time?
Apparently. Although the argument against, to be fair, whilst I do think they probably did know about it, the argument against that will be, well, can you trust the Taliban? I suppose not. No. But yeah, look, Ben Wallace has now come out as well, Emily, and said, look, this wasn't a cover-up. I mean, it literally was a cover-up. You can argue whether or not it was the right thing to do, but, I mean, it literally was a cover-up, wasn't it? Because you don't get a super injunction out on something that you want made public.
But then I think you can, again, argue, was this the right thing to do? What I don't think was right, and where it does begin to look like a cover-up, is why wasn't it possible that even if the public didn't know about it, that what was happening was not at least put under sort of Parliament protection, and the MPs from all sides could have a look at it. Why weren't there committees looking at this? That's where, you know, we are not still in process of exactly what happened and how much they were trying to save lives. I don't feel this was like, oh, you know, here's a Conservative government saying, oh, great, let's just bring loads more immigrants over here because that's going to really help us.
I mean, Boris
I genuinely think that it came from a position of that we were there for 20 years and this leak meant that they genuinely thought we were going to put people at really serious danger of being tortured and murdered.
Okay. There's a lot of confusion online because there's two schemes, isn't there? There's the Afghanistan Relocation Assistance Policy, which is the ARAP, and then there's the Afghanistan Response Route, which is the AAR. And one was in 2021 for those that fought alongside us, and one was because of the leak. So they're two different things, two different lots of people.
It's a very expensive email. Either way,
the ones being investigated on that list,
not all
trying.
Of them
yes, they were all trying. They were still people this government thought had helped us, and they were trying. Yes, because the guy who leaked it had been put there to try and authenticate that list.
All right. Well, look, we're gonna have to whiz on now.